Yes, sir. Will I be proceed?
Dear officers, a very good evening to one and all. I feel very happy, privileged to teach public administration. One of the main reason is whatever I teach, whatever you study in public administration are of immense help in your career. Not only that, even before that, in the examination hall. Whatever you study, there is nothing waste. The reason being, it is a subject made for public administrationists. If you want to be an anthropologist, what you should be studying? Anthropology. If you want to be a sociologist, sociology. If you want to be a political scientist, PSIR. If you want to be administrator, Indian administrator, Indian administrative service, then invariably you have to study public administration. In line with the context, today we'll discuss a very, very important concept in the civil service examination, not only with respect to public administration, but also a very important component in GS2, sorry, in CSAT and also GS4 ethics paper. I hope my students have already guessed the concept which we'll be discussing today. Before I start, let me ask you a simple question with respect to GS4 paper. What are the two most important things? I repeat, what are the two most important things tested by UPSC in UPSC Civil Service Ethics paper? Please do answer. By now, majority might have completed a course on ethics. What are the two things which are tested in each and every question of ethics paper? Let me see some of the answers. Attitude. Tiwari says that attitude. What about others? Then what is the other one? Rational behavior, integrity, our views. Okay, you have given only 50% of the answer. One is attitude. Okay, then let me ask you another question. The paper is named Ethics, Integrity, and Aptitude. Then why are they not testing your ethics? Why are they not testing your integrity? Why are they not testing your aptitude directly? Why are they testing your attitude? Please do answer. I appreciate like if you can answer this. It's a very, very pertinent question. If you have not understood this, definitely you have simply read some stories or something, whatever somebody has told, without applying your thought and logic. Please let me know how many of you are not aware as to why the paper is named Ethics, Integrity, and Aptitude, but the UPSC itself says that this paper will be testing attitude. Why it says like that? Attitude has application in behavior and action. How many of you agree with this? Attitude has application in behavior and action. Definitely, because attitude itself is made up of ABC, affect, behavior, and action, and cognitive components. It's not the exact answer. Your officers, please listen to me. It will be $1 million concept for you. Though there is no proper guidance with respect to this, with respect to the ethics paper, the reason being, in fact, in ethics paper, more than 50% are the things which are directly taken from public administration. It has not been thought. If the teacher is from philosophy or political science, they will be simply telling the thoughts. Questions have not come. For the past like 15, 11 years, maximum 3 or 4 questions with respect to thinkers directly. There is a greatest defect with respect to ethics paper in dealing, especially in teaching. The reason being, as I told you, chapter number 3, chapter number 6, and chapter number 7 in ethics are directly taken from public administration. Values in civil service, ethics in public administration, probity in governance. After that, ethics and human interference, to a certain extent, it's taken from which discipline? Chapter number 1, ethics and human interference. It is taken from which discipline? Philosophy. Great. After that, you have got attitude. Attitude is a concept taken from which discipline? Please do answer. Very good. From psychology. In addition to this, emotional intelligence is taken from psychology. So when you have got a mixture of all the disciplines, a person who teaches has to master these things. That is one important thing that is not happening. But ethics paper is scoring. Why? Please do answer this. A very important question. The most easiest paper in GS studies and essay is invariably essay. After that, it is ethics. Why people score more in ethics? Very good, my student. It's true. The only reason is case studies. If a student gets like 100 marks, 60 to 70 marks directly come from case studies. They're pretty easy. If you see the answers of the students, they'll be simply writing the same way they will be writing GS 1 to 3. What is tested in 1 to 3 are entirely different from ethics. In ethics, attitude. And what else? What is the other one tested? Problem solving, decision making. Is the point clear to you? The ethics component is tested through your attitude. The aptitude component is tested by your problem solving and decision making things. This is what UPSC has given in the very first para. That is one. Today we'll be discussing about a very, very important concept, decision making. Our session will be concentrated on the Simon thoughts. In detail, we'll be discussing about decision making later, but we will today restrict to Simon thought so that we can see, we can analyze, we can imbibe, and we can soak ourselves in the Simon thought, because every thought has a sequence, frequency, vibration. Let us catch that. Having said that, most of the students and even some teachers do a biggest mistake. They complete ethics paper without knowing attitude and decision making. When ethics paper says that this question is testing the attitude, then what should be the linear sequence for that? How are you expressing your attitude in the question paper? How to express your attitude in the answers? Because attitude is the one which is tested. Do you agree with me? UPSC says that attitude is tested. How are you expressing your attitude? You should be aware of those things. UPSC says that decision making is one of the most important things which is tested. Then you should be taught as to how the decisions are made. When they are testing decision making, when they are testing attitude, if you are unaware how attitudes are formed, how decisions are made, how they are tested, your answer will be simply very general, common sense one. It won't be to the point. That is point number one. Point number two, with respect to ethics paper, here thinking that it is philosophical, it is something like ethical, those kind of things. Each and every writer, especially those who write guides with respect to UPSC exam, and the teachers and the students, they interpret the way they want with their common sense. What does this mean? You have to base your answers based on some authentic sources. I repeat, if you have got anything, say for example, foundational values, what is the source? Not what I and you feel. According to which source you are saying? Is this according to second ARC? Is this according to UPSC? In fact, the syllabus of ethics is directly taken from second ARC, especially report number 4, ethics in governance, and 10th, personal development, personal administration, as it is. So I repeat, if you are studying ethics, the most important things which you have to study is second ARC report. Like there is nothing to read completely. There's just some 5 to 10% of the things which you should be aware of. And also DOPT, Department of Personnel and Training, in collaboration with UNDP, has come up with beautiful materials. Those you have to be studying. With respect to decision making, DOPT has come up with a booklet in association with UNDP, that is Competence Dictionary for Civil Services. You should be referring that. If you are attending my classes, there is no need. I'll be covering those things. Right? So this is the background. Not only that, in your CSAT paper, there is a very, very important component, decision making. So here, first and foremost, you should understand the concept. Okay. So here, to conclude the things related to ethics, let me tell you a very important thing. In every question, your attitude and problem solving ability should be expressed. Otherwise, you won't get good marks in ethics. I did this even without preparing much, and I got the highest. That is too long before when it was introduced. Another reason was already we had like many things in public administration, which was very helpful for me. With respect to case studies, you should ask a question. What is the problem? And you should solve. This is one of the most important crux. It is apparent in almost all the case studies. Okay. Having said that, let's get started. Decision making or problem solving. What are the things you consider to solve any problem? Please do answer the things. What are the things you consider to solve any problem or to take any decision? Decision making is a kind of problem solving. What should be the basis? I hope my questions. Identify the problem and issues. Very nice. Then, knowing the situation. Very good. Very nice. Then, if you concentrate on today's class, most of your doubts will be cleared with respect to decision making. So, having said that, let's get started. So, as we always do, let us just revise what we have studied with respect to Chester Bernard, and afterwards we'll move on to this, right? Give me a minute. Bernard was the first full-bloom behavioralist. He gave concepts related to formal organization, informal organization, contribution, satisfaction, equilibrium, acceptance theory of authority, communication principles 7, decision making, and executive functions. So here are the questions which have been given for the last 25 years. So I expect you to read them very fast, and I expect you to write these answers. Write the answers. So first you have to write. You shouldn't be carried away by what we say. First, just write some points. So you should be reading them very fast. After you're done with, please let me know. Done with? Very good. Next. Read it very fast. Please read the questions. Very, very good evening. Okay. Follett's thoughts were carried forward by Bernard, and the same were carried forward. Simon today will be studying about Simon. So here, most important thing which you have to keep in mind is, for the first time, Bernard made a revolutionary, like, disappearing of the things. For the first time, he said that organization is a social system and administration is a cooperative social action. So these are the things which you should be noting. Formal organization is a cooperative system. An organization comes into being only when you are able to understand the communication, willing to cooperate, and if you have the common purpose. So organization is a system. System is interconnected things. Consciously coordinated activities or forces of two or more persons. So informal organization is the shadow organization. It vitalizes the formal organization. And informal organization performs many, many important functions like communicating the intangible facts, maintaining cohesiveness, maintaining the feeling of the personal integrity, self-respect. Then comes the satisfaction and the contribution. So here, contribution is provided by whom? Please do answer. In this one, contribution is provided by survival of organization depends upon the contributions and satisfaction equilibrium. Contribution is provided by whom? Individual, worker, or organization. So contribution is provided by the worker. For that, in the form of inducement, satisfaction is provided by the organization. If the satisfaction what a worker derives for the contribution he has made is more, then that worker will stay in the organization. If his contribution is more and his satisfaction is less, then he will leave the organization. So here, participant source of satisfaction can be divided into two categories: specific inducements and general inducements. Acceptance theory of authority. In this, Bernards make a powerful statement saying that authority depends upon the acceptance of the command, of the order by the subordinates. It was a revolutionary thought, never thought before. Previously, the classicals thought that authority belonged to the position, formal structure. A person who is sitting in a position will be having that authority. Bernard said, no, it depends upon the acceptance. Okay. Communication principles, these are pretty simple. Please go through these things. Decision making. With respect to decision making, two types were described. One is organization decision making and individual decision making. According to Bernard, organization decision making are deliberate, calculated, and made through thought. On the other hand, individual decisions are results of subconscious, automative, and responsive factors. Since organizational decisions are deliberate, calculated, and thought, they are more logical, rational than the personal decisions. In making the decisions, one has to identify the strategic factors. What are these strategic factors? Strategic factors are those which directly affect the purpose of the organization. Once you have identified those strategic factors which directly affect the purpose, which are helpful in achieving the goals, then those should be separated from other factors. This is said to be strategic factors identification. Executive function. Functions of executive relate to all work essential to the vitality and endurance of the organization. I repeat, functions of executive relates to all the work essential to the vitality and endurance of the organization. If you remember, vitality and endurance of the organization is provided by informal organization. So here, one of the most important aspect is concerned with the informal organization. Functions of the executive relate to all the work essential to vitality and endurance of the organization, so far at least as it must be accomplished through the formal coordination. This thought was further carried through Bernard. He is the foremost behavioralist, highest. Okay. Moving forward, now let us concentrate on Simon, a very important one. This is the same syllabus which you have seen in your ethics paper. GS 4, Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude. This paper will include questions to test the candidate attitude. So what you have to show in your answers? Attitude and approach to issues relating to integrity, probity, and in public life, and his problem solving approach to various issues and conflicts faced by him in dealing with the society. So problem solving is one of the most important things which is tested. So here let me just give you a very short insights into some of the decision making aspect. Okay, please consider this. Number one, an employee or your subordinate is involved in harassment of a woman, harassment, like sexual harassment at workplace. This is a UPSC case study, right? Then the next year they have asked a question. Your boss is involved in domestic violence. See, the words have changed here. Domestic violence, or even like you can say sexual harassment. Once to complete some work, you went to your boss house. There you found all these things. You are a junior. What you should be doing now? The third one of the supervisor is involved in sexual harassment with respect to one woman, right? Here, this woman gives a complaint to the management. Management doesn't do anything. Second one, afterwards, she files a FIR. Afterwards, thinking about the repercussions, the management rushes to negotiate. Now, please tell me, are all these same? Or to simplify that, is the problem involved in all these things same? Are all the case studies same? Okay, let me elaborate the third one. There was sexual harassment. Women gave a complaint in the office, in the organization. It was not answered. She filed an FIR. Afterwards, these people came with 1 crore rupee for negotiation. What should the woman do? That was a question. Now, what is the main problem? Please answer. What is the main problem? Please do answer. Hope you have understood the question. Okay. Now listen to me. Yet another question. I'll answer this later after this. Please listen to the question. Point number 1. People in a village had fever. Point number 2. Because of fever, lot of people were suffering and many condition of many are critical. You came to the village. What you should be doing? What should be? Condition of many people are very critical. So here this is the situation. What you should be doing? So in this regard, please listen to me. Most of the students, they concentrate or they give more importance for those people whose condition is very critical, hospitalization, all these things. But they never go to the root of the problem. Why they became ill? Why their condition is critical? Because fever. What was the reason of the fever? So you have to eliminate that. This is the main problem. Similarly here, when the woman is offered a FT sum to negotiate, what the woman should be doing? That is the question. But beyond that question, the most important thing is there is sexual harassment at workplace. That is the one which you have to answer. So this is the immediate problem and this is the main problem. So I repeat, in all the case studies, especially in all the case studies, there will be problem solving. So you should ask a question, what is the problem? In that, you have to demarcate two things: major problem or the root cause, and the present problem, that which require like immediate care. Clear? Any doubt with respect to these things? Okay. So let us move ahead. Like, you should be going home, and I request you all, please write in your own words. Don't write like 100 words, 200 words, just the meaning of the question and the answer. So there is no need for you to study these things. Go home and please study these things. I have put all the previous year questions. Okay. What is the basis of decision making? So here, a very, very important thing, please concentrate. Two basis. Every decision is based on two premises. One is fact premises and another is value premises. Fact is a statement of reality. Fact is a truth, reality, while value is an expression of preference. Very, very important definition you can take for values. So let me just elaborate a bit with respect to values. At the most important thing through which everything emerges, or the linchpin in ethics paper, is values. Values are expression of preferences. Let me just give a brief idea with respect to this. We, like in South India, we drink coffee. Why? We prefer coffee over tea. In northern Karnataka and northern part of India, chai. Why they drink more chai? They prefer. You have come to civil service preparation. Why? You preferred civil service over other jobs. Basically, all the things with respect to humans are governed by preferences. Preferences. Preferences which are in the form of liking are said to be interest. Interests. I like something. I like that. I like this. That is your interest. When your preference as the basis in importance, it is said to be values. Right? So values are the preferences. Those values which are common for all societies, which are present in all societies, in all places, which are important for the whole humanity, they are said to be human values. Human values. They are also known as core values. Core values. Values which are important for all the societies at all the time, in all places, are said to be human values. So these human values are the basis for ethics. Right? So now concentrate on this aspect. Values or preferences which are important. So here, is it fact-based? No. So here, values are not fact-based. Right? So this is the background which you have to keep in mind. Let us study the things now. Okay. Every decision, according to Simon, is based on two premises, factual premises and value premises. It simply says that whatever decision an individual makes, it will be based on these two premises. Fact is a statement of reality, while value is an expression of preference. Factual premise can be proved by observable, measurable means. Factual premise. Love. Can you observe love? Can you measure love? Patriotism. Can you measure patriotism? Can you observe patriotism? No. Sun. Sun rises in the east. It is factual. It is observable. It is measurable. At what time sun rises? It can be tested empirically to find out its validity. Very, very important one, because you often hear a very important thing. Value-based, value-free judgments. What does that mean? This is the answer, right? So factual premises is related to truth, is related to reality, which can be verified, which can be observed, which can be measured. On the other hand, value premises. What is value premises? It is an expression of preference. A value premise cannot be tested empirically. Empirically. You don't know how much I love you. Cannot be measured. That is, it can only be subjectively ascertained as valid. It can be subjectively ascertained as valid. Let me give an example. In your ethics paper, they are testing your attitude, right? Why? To ascertain ethics and integrity. To ascertain ethics and integrity, they are testing your attitude. Let's go back to the youth's example, love. Dear, you don't know how much I love you. It cannot be empirically tested, but can be subjectively ascertained. How? Through your attitude. The way you behave, the way you treat, the symbols you use. Through them, one can judge how much a person loves. That is once again not exact. It is subjectively ascertained as valid. According to Simon, value premises. According to Simon, value premises are concerned with the choice of the end. So whenever you are making a decision based on values, then it is with respect to the choice of ends of the action. I repeat, value premises are concerned with the end, choice of the ends of the action. Factual premises are concerned with the choice of the means of the action. Following rules and regulations. Is it a value premise or factual premise? The laws, rules, and regulations say that one should ride the bicycle only on the left-hand side. Is it factual premise or value premise? Factual. One should maintain integrity in administration. Is it fact-based or value premise? One should maintain integrity. Very good. Value. Value. Very nice. Very nice of you. Right? Similarly, insofar as decisions lead to selection of final goals, ends, they can be called value judgment. If, very important, if your decision is leading to the selection of final goal, then it is based on value judgment. Insofar as the decisions involve implementation of the goals, implementation, then they can be called as factual judgments. That is, factual component predominates. Right? So I repeat this again. According to Simon, the value premise are concerned with choice of ends of action, while factual premise are concerned with choice of means of action. Insofar as decision leads to selection of final goals, they can be called value judgment. Insofar as they decisions involve implementation of the goals, they can be called factual judgments. Right? So any doubt with respect to this? A very, very important one. So the things which I provide, what I request is read it again and again. Almost like you cannot remove even a single word here. If at all, like if you ask me, sir, dictate the notes, the same thing I will be dictating. Dear students, please follow the things which I say. I have got everything, not only with respect to the years I have spent in India. Like if anybody, any top teacher is teaching, I have got all the notes, I have got all the material, top books, international journals, everything. The only thing why I'm not giving is, if I give those things, you'll be in utter confusion. Let us go step by step, conquering section by section. Okay. Any doubt here? Please read this very fast. You should be reading this. And if you're done with, please let me know. Okay, now listen to me. What is problem solving? What is decision making? Say, for example, it's a very classical example. Wife is not feeling well. Wife is in need of medicine. But the husband is not having money. Right? What is the problem? Wife not feeling well. For that, medicines is needed. Once again, what is the problem? Husband is not having the money. So these are the problems. Now, what is the solution? What is the solution? Beg, buy, borrow. All these things are not possible. Begging is not, he has begged, nobody is giving. Borrowing, nobody is willing. Beg, buy, borrow. Not possible. Then what is the alternative left? What is the alternative left? Please do answer. This is a very classical one in ethics. What is the alternative left? Please do answer. Let me see who will answer this. Beg, buy, borrow is not a available option. Now what is left? Or let me make the things clear. What are the other options available? Other options available. Husband is not having money, medicine is needed. What are the options available? Beg, buy, borrow options. Then what are the other options available? Get money by selling unused items. Very good, very nice. Then earn. Like Tiwari ji, क्या बोल रहे हैं आप? Wife is almost like on deathbed. सुबह जाके काम करके पैसे लेके, okay, very nice, very good. Earn by selling the goods. Stealing is an option, right? And not taking care of wife. Taking care of wife without medicine. These are the options. Do you agree? Do you agree with me? So I repeat, request other family members. So helping, right? So now listen to me. Once again, wife is not feeling well. Medicine is needed. Husband is the only person who can provide, but he is not having money. What are the options available? Beg, buy, borrow. Then family members. Then selling the things. Then stealing. Then neglecting the wife. These are the alternative. Which alternative you choose is nothing but decision making or problem solving. If you decide to steal, then that is the decision. If you decide to steal, that is the way you solve the problem. See here, you need medicine. Clear? Did you get a faint idea of what is decision making? So it simply means that decision making or problem solving means choosing one alternative, one best alternative among the all available alternatives. So in your case studies, first thing what you have to look into is as many alternative as possible. In fact, that was the one of the reason why UPSC itself gives some options. And in some questions, it asks you to give options and also identify the best option. Right? Now let us discuss these things in a very systematic way. Okay. Decision making means choosing one alternative from among the various alternatives. What is decision making? Choosing one alternative. There may be many. You want to work, you want to earn. IAS is the one alternative you have chosen. So you have solved the problem like that. You have taken the decision like that. Decision making is essentially problem solving in nature. When someone is asking to take decision, simply they are saying that please solve the problem. It is through decision that you solve the problem. For the first time, John Dave provided stages of problem solving. It is very, very pertinent. Please note it down. These are the things which you have to take into consideration while you solve ethics paper. First of all, what is the problem? In this regard, problem may be more than one. So first write down the problem. What is the problem? Say for example, this is let me take the very familiar case study itself. Your colleague or subordinate is involved in sexual harassment. Right? So the woman who got affected, she resigns and she goes home. She goes home. Now, ask the question, what are the problems? First is, a victim, instead of getting justice, she has given up and she has gone home. So number one, you should make sure that this woman take the resignation back. So this is problem number one. What is the root cause of the problem? What is the main problem? There is a prevalence of sexual harassment in the workplace. This is problem number two. So now, please solve these two problems. That is nothing but your case study. That is nothing but problem solving or decision making. For that, what are the alternatives available? First, go for maximum alternatives. In then, among them, select the best. Clear? What is the most important thing to solve the case study? Here, there is a testing of problem solving ability. First, identify the problem, then jot down all the alternative, however illogical, however vague they may be. Then choose the best alternative. The same thought is carried forward by Simon in his decision making, which we'll be discussing. This you have to apply in case studies. Now, coming to the next, decision making and policy. Here, which is broader one, which is a broader concept. Is decision making a broader concept? Number one. Number two, is policy making a broader concept? Please do answer. Is decision making a broader concept or policy making? How are they related? They are very closely related, but they are not same. Okay, we got some answers. Very good. Decision making is closely related to policy making, but they are not the same. Decision is usually made within the guidelines established by the policy. A poor lady comes for enrolling herself in a program. So here, decisions you take are based on the rules and regulation and the policy. Decision is usually made within the guidelines established by the policy. A policy is relatively extensive, affects many problems, and is used again and again. Same policy used again and again. In contrast, decision applies to a particular problem and has non-continuous type of usage. See here, say for example, prevention of sexual harassment at workplace. That is one policy. Right to Information Act, that is one policy. This will be used again and again. But under this act, there are some decisions which you have to make. These decisions may not be continuous. You take the decision, that is over. The same cannot be carried out. So non-continuous type of usage will be there. Right? How many of you got this? Please let me know. How many have got doubt? Feel free. Okay, great. Right? Very crystal clear. See, just go through these things. Definitely, you will be able to answer most of the questions. And don't worry, say for example, 500 marks in all options every year, not only with respect to public administration, every year in all the optionals, nearly 50% of 50 marks questions, means to say 10% of the questions you won't be aware. In mains, in prelims, you are aware of almost like nearly 20 to 30%, you won't be aware of, you might have not heard. So the material I provide is very authentic, have sourced from many sources. As we proceed at the end, like after completing the things, I will also tell you from which source I have taken, why it is important, and what you should be reading extra. At this point, I don't want to confuse you. Right? Classical thinkers. Did classical thinkers give a very high importance for decision making? Yes or no? Very good. Classical thinkers, they never gave importance for decision making. Decision making did not occupy the central position. Very important. If at all, if they have given any importance, it was in the form of authority. It was in the form of delegation. It was in the form of orders. Otherwise, they did not give much attention to this decision making. On the other hand, classical theories gave more importance, and in fact, that was the focus and locus, that is principles. Develop principles and apply them. They are universal. Simon was the biggest critic. He told principles are pure nonsense. They are proverbs. They occur in contradictions. You say that principle 1, 2, 3, 4 are there. 4 is contradicting 1. Simon said, no principles. In place of principles, decision making should be given the highest importance. So, remove the principles. In those principles, bring decision making. In fact, Simon described organization as a sum total of decision makers. Decisions are involved everywhere. Planning, required decision. Coordination, decision. Budgeting, decisions required. In fact, it was the Bernard, to begin with, who gave importance for decision making. Clear? Let me elaborate these things. A very important one. This, like, you have to read with politics, administrative dichotomy, and the critics. Okay. Classical thinkers did not attach much importance to decision making as an all-pervasive activity related to all management functions like planning, organizing, coordinating, controlling, and so on. Did not give much attention as all pervasive activity means which is present in all activities. Pervasive means present. They did not think that decision making is present in planning, organizing, coordinating, controlling. Classical theorists such as Foyle and Warwick were concerned with decision making process only to the extent that it affects delegation and authority. A very, very important line given by Fred Luton. They did not give much attention. Little attention they gave was with respect to delegation and authority. Otherwise, they did not give much attention. On the other hand, our great Tyler, he said nothing doing. There is nothing like decision making. He said scientific method only has the ideal approach for making decision. So according to him, scientific method is one which is the most important. Clear? A very important one. Here, 3 pertinent points which you have to keep in mind. Classical theories does not attach much importance as a all pervasive means all encompassing, present in all activity. They were concerned, classicals like Foyle and Warwick, they were concerned with decision making only to the extent that it affects delegation and authority, not as all pervasive activity. They never thought that decisions are making is present in planning, organizing, coordinating, controlling. They just thought that decision making, when a leader, when a person at the higher level want to give orders, exercise authority, delegate some work, then there will be decision making. They never thought that it is present in all these things. And for Foyle, it is the scientific management which is the most important, and it's an end in itself. Right? First comprehensive analysis of decision-making process was given by Chester Barnard. According to him, the process of decisions are largely techniques of narrowing choices. So very important, you should be remembering this. According to Barnard, decision-making is narrowing the choices. What is decision making? It is a technique you apply to narrow the choices. Say, for example, if we say, for example, marriage, with respect to marriage, think that boy, for a boy, who is the most preferred girl? In southern part of India, it is mothers, brothers, daughters, or brothers, sister, daughter. Think that there is brothers, daughter, there is one girl. It is decided, even you like were born, before you are born, that you will be getting married to this girl. Now, do you have a choice? Please do answer. Do you have a choice? It is decided by everyone. Do you have a choice then? And it is also a custom, tradition, law, everything, whatever you think. Do you have a choice then? Right? There is no choice at all. No choice at all. Think that there is only one institution, Sambhavam IAS. There is no other institution. Do you have a choice? No. Then there is nothing like decision making at all. Right? Say, for example, there is a problem and you are in dilemma. Then if you are in dilemma, what is the implication? What is the implication? If you are in dilemma, what is the implication? Number one, the work has to be done. What has to be done? You have to marry. See, if you say like, nothing like that, I won't be marrying, problem won't be there. Then you have got alternatives. So you have got more than 100 choices. What to marry, what not, whom to marry, whom not. And one is rich, one is beautiful, one is IAS, another is IPS, one is IFS. If you marry one, you will be foregoing another. So you will be in dilemma. But when you don't have choice, there is no dilemma at all. So in line with, you have to connect this topic to ethical dilemma also. When can a dilemma arises? When you have to do the work and there are alternatives. Choosing either of the alternative leads to the sacrificing of the others. If there is no choice at all, then there is no dilemma at all. So here, coming back to decision making is narrowing of choices. So you have got, now say for example, a boy. How many choices a boy has? How many choices a boy has with respect to marrying a girl? Please do answer. Please. How many choices a boy or girl has? How many choices? Okay, I'll give the hint. What is the population of the world? Population of the world. What is the population of the world? Total population. I suppose like 7 billion. So if a boy or a girl want to marry, they have got more than 3 billion choices. So here you narrow down the choices. Number one. So that girl that boy has to be from my own caste. Before that, my own religion. So there, nearly 2 billion gone. My own religion. In that religion, my own caste. In that caste, my own gotra. In that, he has to be IAS officer. In that, he has to be tall and he has to be dark. So you made the decision. What is that you are doing? In fact, while you are deciding, what is the one thing you are doing is narrowing the choices. Clear? So this is the way in which you have to catch the keywords. See, if you read everything, you won't be remembering anything. What is decision making? According to Bernard, decision making is narrowing of choices. इतना ही लिखना है. Right? What is problem solving? Once again, narrowing of the choices. You got a problem. You want medicine. You can buy, you can beg, you can borrow, you can steal, you can sell some things, you can work and get, or don't care for the wife's illness. You begged, not possible. Tried to borrow, not possible. So you have eliminated those things. Working, it will take a lot of time. By the time your wife may be dead, so that is gone. Afterwards, selling the things, you tried to sell something like that, not possible. Then afterwards, you tried to steal also. It's not that easy. You are caught and you are beaten. Then what is the next? What is left? Is that clear? So decision making simply is narrowing the choices. Let me explain with another example. Say, for example, for a UPSC faculty or a teacher, he has got many options, many choices. Running his own institution, collaborating with some institution, working as a freelancer, working as a full-time, working as a management and also teacher, working in a big institution, working in a small institution. In that, once again, different. Go to the hotspot Delhi and work from there. When you make a decision, you narrow down the choices. Own business, no. Collaboration, not possible. Difference of opinion. Full time, not possible for many reasons. I have to take care of children, family, all these things. Freelancing appears to be good, but work may not be provided throughout the year. Is this clear? Is the concept clear to you? Any doubt here? Okay. Simon is the foremost decision theorist. Now let's get started with Herbert Simon. So as of now, like we have discussed a very important thing with respect to Herbert Simon, that is basis of decisions. A very important one. Tomorrow I will ask about a question with respect to this, because the whole behavioralism, whole human relations, to a greater extent, your ethics, integrity, aptitude is based on this one. Okay. Now coming to Simon. So according to Simon, organization and decision, very simple, very in a lucid way. An organization is structure of decision makers, because decision making pervades the entire organization. That is, decisions are made at all levels. Organization, top executive making the decisions, middle, even the workers. Not only that, decision making is involved in planning. Can we do planning without decisions? Coordinating. We have to coordinate 100 people. Can we coordinate 100 people without taking decisions? Commanding. without decisions? Not at all. So everyone will be making decisions and at all the levels. So organization is a structure of decision makers. So he, taking clues from those things, he gave a very well-known definition, that is with respect to administration. He said that, and he equated administration with decision making. What is administration? A very, very important thing. What is administration? If someone asks you, just say DM, decision making. Administration means decision making. Simon equated administration with decision making, as every aspect of administration revolves around decision making. Can you name anything in organization which is not touched by decision making? Whether to build an organization or not, that also is a decision. Deciding the goals, that is also a decision. Achieving the goal, how? That is also a decision. So he says that administration is nothing but decision making. He observed that decision making is an all embracing activity, subsuming all administrative functions described as POCC, bifoil and post-gob. Planning, organizing, staffing, directing, cooperating, budgeting, all these things involve decision making. So decision making is all embracing, all encompassing thing, right? So here you may be noting down these things. Organization is a structure of decision makers because it pervades the entire organization and at all levels. Decisions are made at all levels. Next is, one is organization over. Second, Simon equated administration with decision making. And previously, the classical theories said, according to classical theories, the functions of executive are post-cob and POCC. He said that decision making is a one which is all encompassing of all these things. Any doubt? If you have got any doubt, please let me know. Okay. Now, with respect to administrators, the Simon, first of all, he was the biggest critics of the principles. He said that principles are like proverbs. Proverbs are not principles. One proverb may say that you do activity one, it will be better. Another activity may say that you do this, it will be leading to. And some other proverb may give a conflicting idea. Say, for example, honesty. One proverb says that if you follow honesty, honesty is the best policy. Second proverb says, honesty से क्या लेना देना, आज अब कैसा मजा करना है वो सोचो, जो तुम्हें ज्यादा मजा दे रहा है उसे फॉलो करो, honesty ऐसा कुछ चीज ही नहीं है. So these proverbs are not principles. Similarly, he said that the principles, so-called, you're calling that as principles of administration, they are not principles, they are proverbs of administration. Simon was very critical of the classical approach and its advocacy of principles of administration having universal application. He challenged their universal validity and described them as proverbs occurring in mutual contradictory pairs. One is saying something, another is saying something. They appear in contradictory pairs. You argued that before one can establish any immutable principles of administration, one must be able to describe exactly how an administrative organization looks and exactly how it works. How the administration works, how the organization looks. Now answer this question. According to Simon, how the organization looks. How the organization looks, please answer with respect to decision making. Very good. Organization is a structure of decision makers. And with respect to administration, decision making is everywhere. Simon criticized, you classical thinkers, have you gone mad? You are developing principles, but you are not aware the most important thing in administration and organization is decision making. First go and learn वो क्या चीज है. Before one can establish principles, one must be able to describe and exactly how an administrative organization look and exactly how it works. So here what he's saying, everything in administrative organization revolves around decision making. Okay. Simon observes, before a science can develop principles, it must possess concepts. He continues, decision making is the most important activity of administration, and administrative science, like any science, is concerned purely with factual statements. There is no place for ethical statements in the study of science. So this was critical of the classicals. So what was the inner meaning of this one? First thing, he highlighted that decision making is all pervasive, present everywhere in the organization. In fact, organization is a structure of decision makers. First thing is, you are not aware of that. Because of those, you are developing principles, but you are not knowing the reality. So your principles are bound to fail. And highlighting and continuing further, he said that administration is the most important activity. And administration science, like any other science, is purely fact-based. Means here, if you say principles, that has to be proved. Is my point clear to you? This is in connection with classical theories. Classical theories say that principles are universal. When you are saying that principles are universal, then that they should be empirically evaluated. Is this clear? If they are not empirically evaluated, if they cannot be tested, then they are not principles. Right? Summing up the things, Simon's concept of administration has two basic things. One is emphasis on decision-making approach as the alternative for classical thinkers' principle approach, that is structural approach. Very important. With respect to administration, first and foremost, highest importance should be given to emphasis on decision making. Next, advocacy of empirical approach, value free approach. Values are expressions of preferences. Value free approaches means it should be based on factual premises which can be verified. So empirical approach is value free because here the things are tested. As against the normative approach to the study of administration. So what is normative approach? What is normative approach? which has values, very good. Still, what is normative means? So normative means prescribing. Say, for example, utilitarianism. Supreme ethical standard for some is utilitarianism. For some, it is categorical imperative. For some, it is divine command. So these are normative according to them. For some, freedom, libertarians. So here, what Simon is emphasizing is, if you want to call anything as a science, then with respect to administration, it should be having very strong foundation, basis in decision making, and it should be empirical. It should be based on facts. It should be testable. It should be verifiable. Simon proponed the new concept of administration based on the theories and methodology of logical positivism with focus on decision making. Logical positivism means that which is based on facts, which is based on reality, right? This is a very important statement. I think twice they have asked in UPSC. When we were having prelims, it was repeated many times. Okay. Any doubt with respect to this? So, with respect to concept of administration, two basic things has to be emphasized. One is decision making, another is empirical approach. In fact, when we study further the bureaucratic principles, when we study the behavioral aspects, we'll study all these things. Okay. Logical positivism is that which is based on facts, which is based on observable facts, which can be proved, right? Now coming to the stages in decision making. What are the stages in problem solving? What are the stages in problem solving? We just discussed problem solving. What are stages? Please do answer. There are 3 stages. What is the problem? Great. Then what are the alternative? Great. Then best alternative. That's it. Here too, the same thing. Simon, he himself said that these were based on the 3 things which you have already told. But he gave different names for those things. Decision making comprises of 3 principal phases. One is intelligent activity, another is design activity, and another is choice activity. So here, according to Simon, these 3 phases are closely related to the stages in problem solving first described by John Dewey. What is the problem? So intelligence activity means finding the problem. First phase in the decision making, intelligence activity, it is borrowed from the military meaning. Here, finding occasions for making a decision. So what is problem? The same they have put in other way. Is it clear? What is the problem? For that, finding occasions for making a decision. The executives spend larger fraction of their time surveying the economical, technical, political, social, environmental things to identify new conditions that call for new action. So here he is looking for new conditions that call for new action means he is searching or he is identifying what is the problem. Then next is what are the alternative. So intelligence activity, you are finding occasion to make the decision. Design activity, second phase is called the design activity. Consists of inventing, developing, and analyzing the possible course of action. That is, finding the alternative course of action. What are the alternatives? Second stage. Here too, finding the alternative course of action. Very important. Second stage is the most important and time consuming. Executives spend even larger fraction of their time individually or with their associates seeking to invent, design, and develop possible course of action for handling situation where a decision is needed. First one is, what is the problem? There you are like putting a lot of effort, spending time. What are the alternatives? That is design activity. It carries still larger amount of time. Now you have identified the problem. You have identified all the alternatives. Next is choice activity. Choice, which is the best action. So now tell me, choice activity, will it take more time or less time? Intelligence activity, we have discussed, it will take more time. Design activity, still more time. Then what about this? Choice activity. Will it take more time or less time? Think any situation, say for example, joining an institution. So for that, what is the problem? Solving or cracking IAS. What are the alternatives? You search everything. Almost you spend nearly some, especially those who are in degree, they spend nearly 3 years searching only this. After that, taking the choice is not a big time consuming one, because when all the alternatives you have tried to find out, just taking one. So here choice activity takes very little time. Okay. Last phase in decision making has choice activity. Choice activity involves selecting a particular course of action from given alternatives. Executives spend smaller fraction of their time in choosing among the alternative actions already developed and analyzed for this consequence to meet an identified problem. Right? Any doubt with respect to this thing? Intelligence activity, finding occasion to make the decision. Design activity, it is finding the alternatives. Choice activity, selecting a particular course of action. Any doubt here? Okay. Then sequence. Coming to the sequence. Okay. So the sequence is the same as given by the Bernard. Intelligence activity, design activity, and choice. The sequence will be same. But there may be a problem. In that problem, once again, there may be a new problem. Once again, that may involve once again intelligence, design, and choice activity. So, to conclude, to sum up, generally, IDC is followed. Intelligence, design, and choice sequence is followed. Okay, 1 minute. In general, intelligence activity precedes design, design activity precedes choice. The cycle of phases is, however, more complex than this sequence suggests. Each phase in making a particular decision is in itself a complex decision-making process. Each phase in itself is a complex decision-making process. The design phase, for example, may call for a new intelligence activity. The problem at any given level generates sub-problems that in turn have their intelligence, design, and choice phases, and so on. These are wheels within wheels. Nevertheless, three large phases are often clearly discernible as organization decision process unfolds. So here, as we already dealt with respect to the sequence, intelligence, then design, then choice. This generally happens. So, but this sequence is not as simple as you think. It's very complex. Say, for example, in design phase, it may call for intelligence. Means in finding the alternative, you may require intelligence. Not only that, problem at any given level may generate sub-problems. In selecting which institution to go, once again, you may face some problems, right? So this is the general sequence which is followed. So coming to the models. So this is one of the most important one. So in respect to decision making, which is also related to policy making, generally the models are bounded rationality model. It simply says that we cannot take absolute rational models, rational decisions. Our decisions are bounded. And next is Lindblom's incremental model. So this says that with respect to decisions, whatever we make won't be de novo, new things. It will be some addition, incremental to the previous one. Then we have got mixed canning model and Droid's optim model. These are little technical. First of all, we'll just discuss in depth with respect to bounded rationality. And last but not the least, you have got one on which last year, I think, or before last year, they had a question. That is with respect to programmed and non-programmed decisions by Simon. So these are the things. If you have got any doubt, please let me know. So what I request is, dear students, go home and try to write the answer. Try to write the answer. You are all capable of. What is given there? Just try to answer. If the answer from the things which I have provided, no need to go to any sources. First, let the things come from your side. Let me see like how you interpret the things. Okay. Good. Hope you have understood the things which we have discussed. Hope you have found the chapter on decision making. Okay, so that was an old message I was reading. So if you have got any doubt, please let me know. Before that, let me tell you a very important one. Whatever I give, keep on reading. There, remove the strategic factors, most important factors, the keywords. I repeat, try to define an organization, try to define an administration or any definition of any author in just, very, very important, in just two or three, or if possible, one word. What is that key word? What is that linchpin that you have to identify? This is a very, very simple one, and in fact, common sense. The things may appear common sense to you because these were the things which were propounded long before and they have already been incorporated. So you may be feeling that like I know these things. Okay. So here we have what I think, like, can you please share the notes of the next class prior to a day? So this is a direct message. It will be a little difficult for me. The reason being, once again, my previous year's notes are entirely different from what I am giving you. If I give a different notes and if I teach a different notes, we'll be in utter confusion. So first, like, I'll make the notes, I'll prepare, and afterwards I'll give. Okay. So having said that, dear students, it's a very, very small subject. We'll be completing most of the things very, very soon at any cost, not beyond December. Most of the teachers who teach optional, they take the classes till March. True, that is true. It is simply like simply playing with a student who is writing prelims this time. So that won't happen from you, from my side. And most importantly, there are certain chapters. Say, for example, chapter number 1, chapter number 2, 3, and chapter number 11, techniques. Other than that, you have got little additions like administrative reforms, policy making. Other than that, all are related to polity. So when you are reading polity, you have to internalize, you have to like collaborate with the public administration syllabus. Not only that, society, social justice, polity, governance, internal security, disaster management, ethics, and essay. All these things should be side by side covered as we move down the syllabus. Right? Having said these things, let me wind up the session here. Have a great day. Enjoy your preparation. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.